Yeah. A big thing for myself is I've really tried to, I talked about this earlier, but I've tried to stay as active as I can possibly. A few of the things that I do specifically is I rock climb a lot. The nice part about this is like you can pick up anything in your life at any age. And I've never rock climbed my whole entire life. And then the last 2 years, I've been rock climbing quite a bit. And for one, it's giving me the ability, because I played soccer my whole life, to kind of move outside of that and do some different things. But that's one thing, is just trying. I think the dynamic, especially of just trying different things, activities, has really been something that has helped me a ton, because you find new passions. You also find stuff you don't like, but at the same time, you find so many cool things to do. And yeah, rock climbing's been one of those things. More now than ever, I would say. I've really been focused on, kind of my diet and what I eat. I wouldn't say I'm the strictest out there, but I also understand that like this idea of everything in moderation, it is a true idea. And like, if I can have, I'm going to have some bad stuff for myself every once in a while, but I'm also going to eat well during the week and set kind of these standards for myself. I think that's the biggest thing, is that, during the week, I'm very strict. On the weekends, I let myself go a little bit, because I think my body's earned that. And I think my brain's earned that. So, when I look at it like that and kind of have set these like ground rules for myself, I think it makes, and sure, it's not going to be perfect always, but I think if I can hold those dynamics true, it makes aging well a ton easier. And it makes me too, this idea of, how you manage kind of these urges to have food, or, urges to do other things. It really helps when you have these dynamics in place, because it's something to fall back on. But that's probably the most important thing. I created a routine that I think works well for myself, and it feels comfortable. And I think that's awesome.
That's a great answer. And I think those deviations from the routine are important, but it's also important that when we consider that deviation, that we're not slipping into the worst of habits.
Yeah.
Like for me, like if I want ice cream, I'm going to get ice cream, but I'm going to get good ice cream. I'm not going to get crappy ice cream. Or, I find it hard to eat donuts and stuff like that anymore, just because even the best of donuts start tasting like, why am I doing this to my body?
Totally.
But chocolate, once you go dark chocolate, man, you can't go back to Hershey.
See, but that's the thing, is like, and that's a good point. It's just like, I think, maybe the older I get, the more I kind of realize things, but it's such a good point. And I think, if we can create routines, but be kind of like you were talking about, the ability to work outside of it is okay. And you don't have to be this, you don't have to shame yourself. You don't have to feel any shame for going outside of your routine or not eating correctly. Just use it as an experience to kind of move forward and say, you know what? Okay, if I ate bad today, then I'm not going to eat bad Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or I'm like, right. It's okay to adapt. And I think people people put a lot of pressure on themselves to do exactly what they're telling themselves to do. And I think that comes with, then shame, and there's a spiral there. And so I think if you're okay with yourself and you're comfortable with yourself working outside of kind of those guidelines you set, it's okay. Stuff happens. And I think you'll be a lot more successful in aging if you actually kind of give yourself some of that.
Great words of wisdom from a young person.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, you got a lot more wisdom than I do. And it's amazing though, to kind of hear you talk about exercise science and what you've done. So and you're kind of the epitome of what it looks like to age well. So,
well, thanks.
If anyone wants to age well, I would definitely encourage them to kind of listen to this and the work you've done, because it's a great framework.
Oh, thanks.